welcome back to the best Buffalo Bills podcast out there, Red, White, and Buffalo. I'm Adam. This is my co-host Zilla. Coming into this week, tough loss to the Jets. It was one of those games that it was like bound to happen kind of game, and unfortunately, we learned our lesson. Luckily, it's early in the season. But obviously, huge news. Josh scare. Josh injury at the end of the game. Of course, it happens at the very, very, very end. Comes out. He only has an elbow sprain, but we avoided major damage. That's the main thing. So, what
I
can
think
we
it's
say?
was it just me, or when you saw him doing that, you're like, oh, maybe he got his arm pulled, and then he kept doing the tingle thing, and you're like, oh,
Right.
geez.
I was like, I hope it's not worse. But then he threw 69 yards, and I'm like, even with adrenaline, kind of ridiculous. So come on.
Then Sean in the after game interview was like, oh no, they asked Josh Allen. He's like, what about your arm? And he's like, I'm a tough guy. I'll push through. It's all right.
Yeah, we'll push through. That's what he said. I'll push through.
Yeah. So I was like, all right.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We have much to say about all that stuff. But yeah. So Zill, let's introduce the first topic we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, let me go ahead and kick it off. I'll just run through how about the weekly overview there quick.
Yeah.
We'll do the defense as usual. I think we're going to touch on Milano and a few people, some injuries, the rushing D, how that is. QB pressure, and then I think passing, switch over to offense, talk about Josh and some of the struggles there.
Worst game of the season.
Some of the run game struggles. And then I think we'll pop back into our usual next week and season review.
Yep.
Which can't come soon enough because it's always tough to move past a game like that. So let's jump into the defense. So let's talk about Milano.
Yeah, I think obviously it showed that he wasn't there. I think every time we haven't had him over the last couple of years, we've had problems with like our stopping the pass, or especially stopping the rush, because honestly, if they happen to get through the D line, the next line is the linebackers, and he has showed multiple times this year. We've praised him multiple times on this podcast of how he's shoots the hole, how he's great at just tackling. And that is game changing at times. That could be the difference of a 30-yard run. That could be the difference of them driving down the field at the end of the game.
Or he's even kicking to the side to catch someone trying to head off the edge.
Right.
And I think that's a very, very important key piece of information related to this game and the failure against the rush, because I don't think that we just I don't think their running backs are any better than Derrick Henry that we faced this year, right? So the only difference is that he wasn't there, and I think we said the same thing, that if we pull out Von Miller or someone, you'd see the same type of hole, again in our defense. So I think a lot of it was just him being out, honestly, and he kind of got injured in the previous game, and that's why I think Green Bay was able to rush on us a little more than usual. So hopefully, well, let's save our recommendations till we get to the next week projections.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm just hoping that he's back, because he's huge to our team. He's very important for defense. Even if he's not back, I just hope that he's at least not long-term injured, or it's not one of those lingering injuries that kind of goes throughout the season, because that will just hurt us really bad all season long. So.
I feel like it's got the hint of either he's going to be back in a week or two back to normal, or it's going to be lingering. I don't think it's a serious one, because he was on the sidelines. He looked like ready to jump in.
I know.
And they showed the camera on him. So.
I think he's going to be back this upcoming week, honestly. So we'll see. I'm really hoping so, because he is a tremendous game-changing defender for us. But going on off of that, the rush D, my God, it's bad right now. It's really bad, and it's reminding me of our weakness from our last two seasons, really, and that's having a phenomenal defense with a pretty average rush defense.
Yeah.
It's hard because we do have to play some games against like teams like Titans. Luckily we played good against them, and that's why I'm thinking it might just be because the Jets are definitely not a better rushing team than the Titans. I
Yeah.
just think it happens to be our this game. It was like our offensive or their offensive line dominated our defensive line, and having a couple guys out for linebackers and safeties really just they just ran all over us, and especially like you said, Zach Wilson was killing us on the ground. So.
Yeah, and he's kind of a quarterback rusher, but he's not typically like that. I think they saw that vulnerability and they just kept cashing in on it all game. Um,
Hmm.
and I think you're right. I mean, going back to there's better backs. We shut down Henry, and I'm trying to think who else. I'm like drawing a blank that has a run heavy team, but I think it comes down to the missing pieces in the defense. And I hate to make an excuse because I think our we both
I
said
mean,
that.
remember
Oh,
Chiefs last year used to, or the previous years to
oh
have
yeah,
torn us up on the
yeah.
ground,
This year
stuff
we
like
shut them
that.
down, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's why I think it really does come down to the missing pieces on defense, like you're saying.
And I
And
was gonna say our defensive line was still doing their like pass rush job because they were in
yeah,
there pressuring him.
yeah.
But I think like just the run game was missing. So
I mean, what we held them to? Let's see. I think we held them to 154 yards passing. So
yeah,
our rush is like rushing, or like I mean our defensive rushing is good. Like for rushing the off QB was great.
yeah.
So I'm just hoping that it is just a couple missing guys, because Carter 12 for 76. That's pretty good. That's it. That is going to kill us if we keep giving up that.
Yeah.
12 for 76. Robinson 13 for 48. Wilson 5 for 24. Yeah, all had there was multiple, and even Ty Johnson had a 12-yard rush on us.
They
See,
all
there
had
was
pretty good
multiple.
like average yards per carry. And I also
Hmm.
don't really the Jets kind of mixed it up against other people when they upset one, whatever you want to say they did to other teams this year.
Right.
But I think that that's definitely I think that's definitely like a significant piece, and I think that you could see in the third quarter somewhere along the third quarter line, like a light bulb went off on their side for the play calling. Like it just went
Right.
all running. Like
Yeah, fourth quarter was just like, that's why I think the fourth quarter went so fast too. And if you notice, third quarter, we know there was really no scoring
no, they were
happening.
just chewing clock with
Yeah.
runs. Yeah, and
And then it got to the point where like every possession became crucial, and that's where Josh started like really started rush like getting to the point where he had to like score, and it just got out of hand, and that's where
yeah.
he was throwing
Do you
bad
actually want to
plays.
pop
So
over to the offense because I think we kind
yeah,
of summarized a lot of the
I
points
do
you want
want
to
to
say with
say
the
though,
game.
the overall defense once again is they played a good game. We can't
Yeah.
say they played a bad game. Like they held them to 20 points.
Hmm.
Realistically, the offense had a horrible game compared to the defense having another good game, and
Yeah.
that's why even down the road, that's what makes me happy is that the defense is playing well and so well that our offense just needs to play out good. They don't even need to play great every time. They just need to
Hmm.
play good. So yeah, let's go on to offense. Obviously, Josh, as I was saying,
Yeah.
by far played his worst. I think his worst of the entire season. Because like even the Miami game, our offense still went off. We still scored, I think, 500, or we still had like 400 and something yards,
That
like
was a
almost
shootout. That
500
game was
yards.
between both sides. Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
though it was like 21-19, it was just one of those games where we just didn't capitalize on a couple scoring opportunities, and that's why we only scored 19, but we still had out like 250 yards more than them, kind of thing. So like, but this game was like, and we have to give credit to Jets defense. Like I will say, Jets defense, it definitely played a fucking game and a half. Like,
Hmm.
do give credit where credit is definitely due. Their defense looking great. I mean, Sauce Gardner, he is a great quarterback. I mean, it was a great pick, obviously, for them. So
I think
their defense definitely. I mean, they didn't shut down Allen. I mean, he still had an okay game, 200 yards. He had two INTs. Uh, he had got sacked 5 times, which definitely showed
I
that
think
was bad.
yeah, and I think for me what I saw was he was just definitely more like kind of flustered and like the looks like there's too much holding the ball. Like he typically will find someone, and so I could tell that they were doing pretty good coverage just along that line, not even including the interceptions. But I kind of
Mhm.
think that's key because I think we both agree, like, once he starts getting kind of, like, cornered, he starts getting more desperate, when things aren't open like normal.
Yeah. I definitely think we have to also start questioning too. Like, I love Gabe Davis, but he's a hit or miss. We do need we need to have a consistent second guy.
Yeah.
Diggs had a great game, 5 for 93, but like there's got to be a game where somebody else goes off like with him like on in these moments,
Mhm.
and it just seems to be where it's not happening more times than not a little bit sometimes. So I'm hoping that Gabe can start. There's been a couple games in a row here. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And we've talked, like it might just be the flow of the season.
Mhm.
I heard like Diggs said something like it's just how it goes sometimes. These seasons are long. There's a lot of games. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs. But
Yeah.
it's just the finish line you got to get to. So, and hopefully our finish line is winning Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and that's what we want. So,
Yeah, I think Gabe has been, like, more of the big play guy, like, the big bomb,
right,
but we like you said, that's kind of not it's not really as useful if we're not in a big bomb situation, like, where they're shutting
right.
that down, then you need somebody who can get open for a short pass on routes too and stuff, so
With Diggs, not
yeah.
just Diggs,
Yeah.
because then our game will open. We'll be able to open up our pass game even more.
Yeah.
So, and
Um,
I definitely think we need to work on getting our rushing game going. Like
yeah.
it's important. It's needed.
I
We
think
need to.
every time you try to, like, put the blame on Josh Allen, you also have to put the blame on that running game because
You
it's
have to.
not there, and he should have a good supporting cast. Like, that's what actually Sean said in the interview after the game. He was like, "This isn't a one man army
Yeah.
situation. Like, you don't put it all on him." So, and I think that's rightfully so. Like,
Right.
he shouldn't have to. Again, he's relying on passing too much, and
Right.
that was that curse the last 2 years. When they shut down the pass, like, what do we do? Get 4 yard carries, 2 yard carries. So
Right. No,
yeah,
100%. And obviously, I think all of that accumulates with the offensive. Like it's the offensive line is hurting right now. We've got people like Quisenberry in there who freaking sucks so bad,
yeah,
and they're getting beat left and right. Josh is rushing all over. If you look, Josh is once again. What do you just have? I think 9 for 86 rushing.
yeah,
That's because he is being rushed out of the pocket constantly and having to rush all over the place.
yeah,
He's always on the run. He got injured because the offensive line fucking sucks.
yeah.
Like we need to figure this out. Whether we trade, like why didn't we trade for or sign anybody or anything? We should get something other than these shitty guys like Quisenberry, who's constantly getting beat left and right.
Well, it's like we're good when the starters are all in, but then when someone's injured, then we don't have the depth on that. Like the
Right.
defense. So
Yeah, so I don't know. That was rough to see because honestly, we can't have that constantly happening because Josh is going to get hurt.
mhm.
Like that. That's just the start of it. You
And
know.
lucky for us, like you said, when he's getting rushed out of the pocket, he'll typically try to turn that into a gain. I mean, which is good and
Hmm.
bad, but it's good because he's moving it forward still, but bad
Right.
because it's usually not designed. The play's not designed for it. He's just making it happen, which means
Yep.
there's not adequate blockers and he could get
Right.
hit, and all that stuff. So
You can definitely tell that our offensive line is lacking heavily, and it's not fun because I definitely I definitely don't see us if we can't get this going and injuries fixed, we're not going to be able to go far. There's going to be good defensive teams that will destroy us.
yeah.
It could be just like the Jets just did.
It'll be like the previous years where they call your card. They double team. They play all on the receivers, and
Yep.
then that's it. Like they know you're not going to be able to run well. So that's it.
And I will say Josh has just looked horrendous the last two games.
Mm,
Crazy throws, rushed all over. And I know that too, but he's got to still be calm and stay in the pocket as long as you can. Find your receivers. You've got great receivers. Take your time. Like I don't know. It's something's been up with the offense, and it's definitely the flow of the season. But we'll see. I'm just hoping that the offense can get it together because they've looked really, 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 really bad.
I think seeing his reactions on the field and the interviews afterwards, he just takes a lot of the burden on himself. So I think having like such a great beginning season was putting a lot of pressure on him. Where like every game he felt this pressure to perform great, and people every week everyone's like, "Oh, MVP candidate, MVP candidate." Well, I
Right.
mean, you're bound to have a bad week, and that's a lot of pressure to carry like
Even
all
a couple
season.
weeks in a row, maybe. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, remember last year? I think it was 4 weeks, and then I think we went like 1, 1, 1, 1, like back and forth for like 4 games. That was like 7, 8 weeks of like where we were kind of playing iffy football, and
yeah,
then towards the end of the season, we caught it and we just got on fire and we played great football all the way through into the playoffs, and obviously lost a heartbreaker. But like it's just the flow of the season. We've done talking. I think common talk over the last this season has been a lot of injuries, and it's not like we said. It's not that we have injuries to a ton of players. It's just that we have injuries to a couple of key players
yeah.
and a couple of big names that are definitely. It's showing. It's 100% showing.
Like our injuries are significant. Like we talked about versus the Miami game. Like, yeah, they had a lot of injuries. Someone told me, well, they had more injuries than you guys did, and it's like,
Yeah, we
yeah,
had like 5
t-
defensive starters out.
yeah. Like our stars were all injured, like the starters, So
Yeah.
yeah,
2 safeties. This game again, both our safeties out. Milano out. It's
yeah.
just like all the time, our defensive tackles are constantly in and out. It's just it's
And w-
tough. It's
and we're
tough.
and we're not making excuses because on defense they're still, like you said, overall they're still doing great.
They're still
So
playing
yeah,
great.
yeah,
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. It's just we're not, but they could be playing even better is what I'm saying. It's our defense and
yeah.
our in it's our same with our offense. It's just our offensive line is going through so many injuries right now. Spencer Brown has been in and out all, and
Morris, yeah,
he was huge for us last year.
yeah.
It just sucks. Like maybe we should have kept like Bodeker and all the, and like guys like that because now he's playing. He's been playing on Giants now too. So
It's hard because you can't keep everybody. You know what I mean? Like you
I
gotta
know,
you
I
gotta
know.
like stock up in one area and let go of another one, and
Right.
I don't know.
But overall, very thankful for Josh being.
Yeah. Let's
We
say
could both
that.
say
Let's
that
say
we were
that, and
literally
also, yeah, go ahead.
like about to shit ourselves on Monday and
Yeah,
Tuesday,
yeah,
and thinking about every possibility of how our season could be over because of Josh not being on the team. But
yeah. I think we basically were both like this season could be over, and like, and not
oh yeah,
by the fact that the defense wouldn't still play hard, but like he's such an impact maker for this team, which is also why they should probably invest in an offensive line because if
yeah,
you want him to be healthy in the years to come, where we have the chance for Super Bowl runs, like get somebody that's almost more important than other things at this
yeah.
point. So.
I'd be signing crucial veterans and trying to trade
Free
up and
agents
draft.
or whatever else.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
free agents or like getting good draft picks and
yeah.
using them on offensive. Need good ones that are going to be protecting Josh for years to come.
Yeah. So with that being said, we'll that also is a nice way to transition into the next week
Yeah.
because I think we both talked about this. I personally, so we both said that Josh Allen should just rest. Like, don't even play him against the Vikings. It's an
Yep.
out of conference game, not even out of division. And I also would add to that, let those anyone who's hurt just let them sit. Like, let them
Yeah.
get healthy because
Well, I was just looking.
you know
Let's
we
see.
we lose a couple We lose a couple games midseason last year, like you said, it's just like a
Right.
reset. Yeah.
Like Milano was hurt.
Mhm.
Poyer's hurt. Edmonds hurt. Elam hurt. Rousseau hurt.
Yeah.
Josh hurt. Like there's so many players that are hurt right now, and honestly, what like you said, why not? I know Vikings are good, but they're a non-division.
Mhm.
They're out of conference. They're already have a better record than us. Who cares? They're not. If we lose to them, it's not going to even really affect us. Yeah, it's going to affect us in the moment for our overall record, but outside of that, it's not going to hurt us that bad right now. So let everyone essentially get another bye week, get healthier, take the time to heal up, so we can look towards the future of being healthier and a better team overall.
Yeah, and let me pull up the Vikings schedule because I heard an interesting stat today that said they have only won one game against a team
They're not even
with a
good.
winning record. So
I
they
think we
beat the
could have a
Packers.
chance, honestly.
Yeah, they beat the Packers. They beat the Lions. They
Lost to the Eagles,
lost the Eagles. They beat the Saints. They
beat the
beat the
Bears,
Bears.
beat
They beat
Dolphins
the
without Tua.
Dolphins. I guess the Dolphins is the only team with a winning
Without
record.
Tua.
What?
without Tua, I
without
think.
Tua, yeah. And then
Yep, Bridgewater. Yep.
they beat the Cardinals, but do the Cardinals even have a winning record at this point? I can't recall.
Cardinals, oh, they fucking suck.
Yeah, and then they beat the Commanders. So, um, that is a lot. You can say a lot about that too. Like we might be able to sit Josh and let him just rest up and
Yeah,
still
that
win.
sucks.
Yeah.
The Vikings, how that's like the Eagles schedule. You wonder why they're 8-0. Come on. Like, look at the Bills' first 6.
I know.
Literally, like, Chiefs, freaking, that is so ridiculous.
Yeah. The Eagles are even worse
Minnesota's finally
because
playing their first hard team, and it might be without Josh Allen. Wow. Good. Let's go Vikings. Like, come on. We played defending champs, Titans, at Dolphins, at Ravens, Steelers easy game, at Chiefs versus Packers, at Jets. That's been our first opening season.
yeah.
Come on.
And we had to look this up. Like I had to look it up when I got home because I'm like, did they really only beat one team with yeah, they did. That's it. You know.
Yeah. Because at the time, Dolphins were a losing team, I think, when they beat them.
Yeah, they were actually. Yeah, because they were like down at the bottom for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so with that being said, like actually, you know that the NFC East is looking like they're looking like a better division on paper, but they're not really. You know, they're all equally bad except the Eagles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the NFC East they're gonna show towards the end of the season that they're like I honestly do I'm maybe one other team might make the playoffs out of that whole division.
The problem is they all play each other twice, so that's like two chances to play bad teams.
Honestly, the AFC East is looking like the best division out there. Jeez.
AFC
Dolphins are
South is
solid.
yeah, we probably have the most we have like the most exciting division.
Jets are up and coming. Dolphins are definitely exciting, and Patriots have already been to the playoffs last year, and they're only like a couple game right there. They're like a game or two back. So
Yeah.
like honestly, it's going to be a battle all season for this division. And that's the first time we could say that in like 4 years.
Yeah, the Pats are even 5-4, yeah, in last
Yeah,
place. 5
right.
and 4, and then you go to like AFC South and the Titans have 5 and 3 for the top team
For
in the
the top.
division. Yeah.
Go to the NFC South.
Yeah.
I think
The Bucks are 4 and 5, yeah.
With 4 and 5 Bucks.
And the Atlanta
Lead the
Falcons are
division.
tied for first with 4 and 5.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's who the NFC teams are playing right now. Come on.
The 49ers 4 and 4.
The NFC compared to the AFC it's not even comparable. The NFC for the last few years the NFC sucks.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why the NFC wins the Super Bowl like a few times at the end of the year. Like last year.
Yeah.
Freaking Cincinnati had to battle to get there, and then the Rams just like walked on
Strolled
in there.
in.
Yeah. And then beat up on and that they barely beat Cincinnati, you know, and it's just like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know. The AFC is definitely a whole level of competition better.
Yeah.
There's 2 teams in the AFC that you could argue that are on a whole nother level than the rest of the league.
Mhm.
Chiefs and Bills. Like you could argue if they're healthy and they're full team. You could argue Chiefs and Bills are on a whole nother level than the rest of the NFL,
Mhm.
and they're both in the AFC. And then
It's true.
then you go down to the next third team, and it's honestly it might not even be like people say Eagles, but honestly I just don't think they've played anybody.
Mm.
You could even argue that like the Ravens are there,
Yeah.
you know, or somebody like that. Like before. Honestly, if you put Ravens Eagles, like I think that's a game. I wouldn't say that the Eagles would just walk away with that.
No.
You
They'd
know
have
what
to
I
work
mean?
for it. Yeah.
And then like NFC has people like Seattle's dominating. I don't even understand that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, look at that division though.
Yeah, that division sucks.
They're pretty terrible.
It was so funny. They were like, that was going to be the best division. Oh, all this
They've
stuff.
said that for 2 years. That was going to be the top
Horrible.
division. Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah,
going to off of this Vikings at Buffalo. Obviously, we both think Josh should sit. Let all of our injury guys sit for a week. If they're hurt, just let them heal up. You know, Keenum has a chance. He's played against Vikings. He's not a horrible quarterback. He could definitely, if he manages the game well enough, scores a TD here or there, our rushing game gets it going. We could be keep ourselves in the game and honestly pull away with the game. But
Yeah.
honestly, I think it's important to have Josh in there. Like that's an obvious statement. But I think if Josh is in there, I think it's like a 30-20 win. If Josh is out, I think it could be like a close loss.
Yeah.
But hopefully, like fingers crossed, Josh is in there if he's healthy enough.
Yeah.
If he's healthy enough.
Also, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get him in there and get a lead and then take him out, you know what I mean? So you're
Mhm.
not kind of like you would do in close to the playoffs where you're like, well, let's just get far enough ahead to get the win, pull him, put someone else in, you
Yeah,
know? So you're like,
because
yeah,
honestly, I think we're a much better team, but who knows?
yeah,
Honestly, like we said, we keep saying injuries. We are very injured right now. It's that point of the season where like we need to heal up. Where like it's that turning point of the season. It's like 9, 10 games left. It's like that point of the season where we need to just heal up and then finish strong, kind of thing.
yeah.
So
And if Russo and Milano are out again, that could be Delvin Cook tearing us up, next week. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Another great rushing game
yeah,
against us could very well happen.
yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, Von Miller, he's great too. So maybe he'll step up and get do something for us too. So
Yeah. The good
we'll
thing about
see.
it is I think this thing we have as a safety net is that Kirk Cousins is not a rusher, so we don't have to
Yeah.
worry about him getting out of the pocket and taking off, so like Zach Wilson did. So that should be
Yep.
contain him, that might be a good way to just shut him down.
And honestly, to be honest, like I was saying before we got on pod, if we have to let Josh sit through the Browns game, because Keenum was played with the Browns last year, let
Mhm.
him sit through the Browns and maybe come back at Lions on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
And even so, in that game, even like if we don't, if he's not healthy, honestly, we could win that game without him. Like so, like maybe even let him sit to the end, the first of the month next of December
Yeah.
against Patriots. Monday, I think it's a Monday night game. Let him sit maybe till then.
I mean, we
You
want
know, come back a couple weeks later, through 3 weeks off, come back healed up.
yeah. I mean, you want to see him win, and it's fun to watch him play, but it's gonna, it's not worth it. And yeah, the Browns are 3-5, so they're not even in like contention for a wild card or anything. It's
Right.
not like we're worried if for some reason someone
And
takes the
let's say
first spot.
we come back and we got at Patriots versus Jets versus Dolphins. That's
Mm,
crucial games. I'd rather have Josh healthy and ready to go for 3 division games that we need to win all 3 of those. They have
yeah,
to be
in
wins.
a
You know what I
row,
mean?
in a row. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And they're all in a row. So, and that's towards the end of the season, and they need to be wins because that will be crucial at that point, especially if he's missed time already at all over those 3. So,
yeah. What's the? Let me just look quick if they're away or home on those three. Um.
it's at Patriots versus Jets versus Dolphins. So that's at home.
Oh, okay. Great.
But the other 3 are adverse home against Vikings, home against Browns, at Lions. I think those are all winnable games with Keenum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or well, maybe the Viking game might be a loss, but it's at home at least.
Yeah.
And he's been in the Vikings. He's played with Vikings before, so who knows? And I don't even know if he is. Hey, let's say he comes in and plays pretty well. He might be ready to go on a good offense. You know what I mean? Sometimes an average quarterback can be really decent. Nick Foles,
Mm.
other like who else? There's been other great good quarterbacks that have played well on because the players around them. So
Kirk Cousins back when he first stepped in.
yeah, right.
Mm.
So we'll see. I don't know. I'm definitely hoping for the best with Allen, hoping that it heals because I think everybody can agree. I don't care what anybody says. Like you can wish all you want for us to have all the injuries, but it's never fun for anybody to be like, what if they were healthy? You
Yeah.
know, especially and it's not I'm not saying, oh, if we had a ton of injuries. What I'm saying is like to our star.
Yeah.
You know, like what it's different too when you have a star quarterback or a star player of any sort that tremendously impacts your team, and then all of a sudden they go out for maybe an extended period of time. You know, that is crucial. That's just like a what if situation of like what could have happened.
I think as a fan and probably as the players, like you ideally want to face the teams at their best so you can say I fairly beat them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Right.
nobody wants to say afterwards like, yeah, we got to beat them because they were all hurt. You
Right.
know, like
Right.
how is that a good feeling really? So,
Right. So, what is
mm.
your prediction? You think
For this first one, the Vikings?
for the Vikings one?
Um, yeah. I mean, obviously, I think it's significant, like you said. So if Josh is playing, I say 30s versus, you know, 14, 17, somewhere around there
Yeah.
for them. And then if he doesn't, I think tight. It's either gonna be a squeak win or a
Yeah.
squeak loss. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
and I mean, we could be completely wrong. If it all depends on our defense too, like who comes back.
And
Um,
Keenum, how he actually plays.
yeah, yeah. So because I mean, I'm still fine with just putting Keenum in, having him go to town on this game, and like if nothing else, if he has to play against the Browns, then at least he had a whole game to warm up, like in play. You know what I'm saying? Not just like preparing on the off week. So
Mhm.
that's kind of how I feel. So, and I think that the Browns are a extremely rush heavy team, so that might not really matter who our quarterback is, with whether they're scoring or not. It's going to matter like who our quarterback is with how much we can score back. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
so
I
I guess it's just a wait and see. You know, hopefully we get the news about the defense this week, and I kind of feel like if these players are still out, just sit them all out.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no sense.
Yep.
There's no sense in having your starter defenders come in there and kind of like half quality, you know, half health, and then have them get real beat up against the Vikings just so for what, you know? So
Right, right.
yeah,
No, I agree, I agree. It's just like well, especially like it's like we've said, it's non-conference, non-division.
yeah,
Not gonna matter when it comes to playoff time. And it's honestly just take it as a free bye week essentially and move on.
yeah,
Maybe even possibly still pull out the win with Keenum.
yeah. Hopefully, that's ideal,
So,
right? Yeah. So,
yeah. So,
is there anything else we had left?
no, I
That's
think
it.
we're good.
Yeah.
Once again, everyone
Oh, you cut out a
follow.
second. Hold on.
Did I?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that you repeat that if it did cut out.
Okay, my bad.
All right.
So after the cutout, everyone follow our YouTube, our Instagram at Red,
Done.
White, and Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Followed at the
Follow
bottom down
right
here.
here, right here.
Yeah.
Yep, somewhere across the
Yeah.
hat, something.
It'll be like blah, 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 going across.
Yeah, please do. We appreciate it. Obviously, we have fun just talking Buffalo Bills football, good or bad. We love our team, and we just want everyone to enjoy some Buffalo Bills talk. And
Yeah.
we hope everyone enjoys it. And we are really appreciative of all of you for sure.
Yep. And if we could, the more likes, the more subscribes, the more
Yeah,
everything, it can hopefully give us like um, I guess the reason or rationale to put more into this too. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like that's great. You know,
for
like
sure.
so positive feedback's good. We can try to make things better, dedicate more time to it, all that type of stuff. But regardless, we're gonna keep doing it, have fun. So thank you,
Yep.
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's go
Let's go,
Buffalo.
Buffalo! See you next time.
Sees you.